Hey there, how are you doing? So this video, I'm trying to share my interview experience for the ISB PGP program, the postgraduate program for the class of 24. So in this video, I'm just going to share my interview experience and not the application strategy, not the essays, not the GRE GMAT score. So I applied in round one and I got the shortlist on October 2nd and my interview was scheduled on October 8th. So I had about 5 days of preparation for the interview. The interview was scheduled around 12:15 in the afternoon inside the ISB campus, and there were two panelists in the interview. But the interview ended up starting at around 2:30 in the afternoon, so they were running about 2 hours late. Before I start with the questions, I have listed down the questions down in the description below so that you don't have to watch the entire video. If you're just interested in the questions what were asked, I put that in the description. So coming to the interview, as soon as I entered the room, the first question that I was asked is, why do I have a piercing on my left ear? I don't know if it's visible on camera, but I have a piercing on my left ear. So that was more like an icebreaker question, making sure that I'm comfortable inside the room. So we had a 2-minute conversation and then the actual interview started. So the first question I was asked was to explain my career trajectory and the skills that I've picked up. So I started explaining them the skills I picked up during my undergraduation, a couple of skills that I picked in the 2 projects that I worked for, a couple of certifications which I completed along the way. When I was trying to explain all of this, I was interrupted abruptly and I was asked the second question by the second panelist. So the second panelist asked me, in my essay, I wrote product management as my short-term goal. So the question was, how can ISB help me in reaching my short-term goal? So I started talking about the peer-to-peer learning which happens inside the classroom, and some of the peers might have worked as a product manager in the past. I talked about the professors who come from prestigious universities around the globe, whether it's the residential faculty or the visiting faculty. I talked about the electives that they have. So all in all combined, I think I told them that this would help me to get to product management. They were not really impressed. To be honest, they were not really impressed throughout the interview. I do not know if this was done deliberately to put me under pressure and to see if I could answer under pressure. But they were not really impressed throughout the interview. The next question was about the 2 case studies which I mentioned in my essay. So I had done 2 case studies with respect to product management. And so the next 5 to 10 minute conversation was them asking me questions regarding those case studies. And after this, they actually ended up giving me a case study in the interview. So they asked me if I was a product manager in Swiggy, what were the 5 features I would add, modify, or delete to get better customer satisfaction and also make more profits as a company. So I listed down 5 points in a piece of paper and try to explain them. But again, they were not really impressed with this answer. The next question was asked by the second panelist, and he asked me what was my most significant achievement. And I believe this is where I messed up a little. I should have chosen a personal achievement rather than a professional achievement, because all this while we're just talking about work. I told them that I got a chance to host a Fortune 500 client visit in my company, and I addressed a crowd of 300 people, all of this. But again, I was abruptly stopped and asked another question. So the next question was, because there are a lot of IITians who come to ISB, they asked me how would I cope with them inside the classroom. So I told them that instead of getting intimidated by them, I would rather see that as a learning opportunity, because most of the learning, as I mentioned, happens through peer learning. So whether it's group projects, or group assignments, group presentations, most of the learning happens with your peers. So that's what I mentioned. The next question they asked me was about this firm called BNI. So I was a member of BNI, which stands for Business Network International, where I represented my dad's firm to market his business. So we had a conversation about how BNI works for about 2 to 3 minutes. And that's pretty much it. The next question was, what are the short-term and long-term effects of COVID on insurance? Now, the question on insurance, because the company I work for is an insurtech firm. So I was expecting questions on insurance and I was prepared for this answer. So the short-term goal, I try to mention them schemes like COVID coverage by the government, and long-term, I told them that it doesn't really affect because most of them are vaccinated and they have their booster dose as well. That was that. And the last question was a very surprising one, and I did not expect this question. They asked me my view on Rahul Gandhi's Padhyatra. No, I did not expect a current affairs question, and also not from politics at least. So I told them that I do not really follow national politics, but I did give them my opinion, make sure that they know I have an opinion. So yeah, that was the end of the interview, and I got the result about a month later on 18 November, and I wasn't admitted. But it was a great interview experience, and this was my first interview with a business school. So yeah, it was a great learning experience for me. That's pretty much it. And if you think I can help you out with your essays, structuring of your essays or interview prep, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or I will give my email ID below in the description. You can reach out to me there as well. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.